Hey guys, it's Nolan and Jason here with Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
Got an interesting one today. Fix the real problem and never buy plumbing leads again. Now, I believe this to be true. I'll rephrase it. I know this to be true for 80+% of plumbers that are banging, because I know they don't buy other leads if their house is in order. And so I would love for people to understand this fully. I'm going to tell a couple of different versions of why people buy leads. So buying leads, there's nothing wrong with buying a lead. There's nothing wrong with paying for clicks or impressions or any of that sort of stuff.
But they should be an add-on to a proper marketing campaign.
Correct.
Not the focus of the campaign.
So we're going to discuss what a proper marketing campaign is. We're going to discuss what the best rate of return of your marketing dollar is. The myths and mistakes that guys make, people view this improperly, their view of it, and help debunk some of those things so that your head can get screwed on straight so that you can get the best return possible and not have to buy a stinking lead. Let's talk about the mindset of a lead buyer too. So I'd like to say that a lead buyer typically, so first off I want to say, just for the sake of saying, there's nothing wrong with buying a lead or paying for a click. However, people that call for leads and want to pay for clicks have other fundamental problems.
Right.
Typically. And I'm talking 90+% of the time. So they're buying a lead because their marketing isn't working properly, and we'll discuss what we think proper marketing is in a second. But they're buying that lead because they're not getting business. Now, when somebody calls looking for a lead, they have completely kind of given up and gone off the rails of proper marketing. And these people think that a lead is the only way to do it. Now, a lead buyer, because we've got a client, I'll tell something that's maybe not perfect to tell, but we do a monthly fee now. And we always have done a monthly fee, but for a little while, we sold a lead and tracked the lead. Now, just for anybody...
But just to clarify, though, we didn't call people and say we want to sell you leads.
No.
We did our normal marketing effort, what we would do anyway, and we charged on a per lead basis.
Correct. As
a way of verifying the efficacy of our work.
Okay. That's that new word has been used since COVID. But we did that because a lot of plumbers wanted to buy a lead.
Yeah.
So we were just giving, the marketplace what it wanted. The problem is when we found that there was a problem with a lead buyer, the mindset of the lead buyer, the reason we quit doing it, in many cases, they paid ungodly amounts of money.
Right.
And then would get crippled by the amount of money and quit.
Yeah.
Now,
everybody had a cap. Just
for the record, we have a great monthly fee, but somebody would call up and buy leads and end up paying sometimes 10 times as much.
Yeah.
Sometimes 10 times as much. But that's not what I wanted to bring up. I just wanted to say we have very reasonable fees. We don't do lead buying anymore. But what ended up happening with the lead buyer, and I want to talk about it, if your brain is thinking leads, I'd like to get you corrected on it. The lead buyer is thinking about a lead itself, and they tend to end up buying a lead, thinking about leads. They're more likely to pay for clicks. They're getting angry about this stuff too. Angry at the cost of the leads. Angry at the cost of the paid ads or the Google ads or the Facebook ads, but they're looking at it through that lens. They're missing what we call the big show here. The big show is showing up organically for the vast majority of search. So over 80% of people go to Google, look for plumbing services, and while there, over 70% of people click on a non-paid item.
Right.
So that's the Google map. And there's problems there too with people's thought process. Google map, reputation reviews, and organic. Organic being organic, but when I say organic, the keyword.
The stuff underneath the map rankings.
Under the map, or if the map doesn't show up.
Right.
And so all of that, a lot of stuff that you didn't pay for, Google ads or Google guaranteed, the stuff that wasn't a paid ad, that's where almost all of us click. So roughly 75% click there. And so almost everybody almost all the plumbers don't show up there. And if they do, they think, well, I've already got a website. I've already got a Google business profile. Yeah, but it doesn't show up well. And it's like, well, I show up a little bit here and there for these keywords, but you could show up for like hundreds of percent more.
You could show up for thousands of keywords.
You
cover a larger geographic area.
Right.
Yeah.
So when somebody doesn't show up there, their brains they need leads, but they're, it's like having your own filtered water source at your home off your own well, or having to purchase bottled water every time you need a drink. You're going out there buying less quality stuff. It is, because the tap does kind of pour on when you're at Pack 3 mapping more often than not and organic. And that's the best source right there. You have clean spring water coming up out of your own land that you own. It is a good analogy.
It really is.
Or you're having to go get plastic water bottles. You might get a little better doesn't have BPA in it, but we all damn well know it's still got plastic in it.
Right.
You just don't know what other bad shit's in there.
Yeah.
So it's not as good of a lead, and you're having to go get it, and you're just not going to perform as well with them. So when somebody's finding a brand that's properly branded with a well worked on a website, proper page content, and it's up and ranking on both organically keywords to the website and map placement and reputation reviews, and it's a healthy brand, it is just a wonderful thing. And those clients of ours like that, 80% of them don't pay for any other lead source at all or any paid advertising at all on digital.
Yeah. The vast majority of them are just paying for organic, and it sustains and grows their business.
So the biggest thing that's ever been done, and people, I think part of it's because we're so far down the road. Google Local's been around since 2005, but Google, 97 or something?
2001, I actually believe
was
the official.
What was 97, 98 and stuff? Why not see? Well, there's registered domains from back then, but maybe that was before Google.
Yeah, that was before Google.
Okay. So 20 years later, people aren't thinking about it, but in the whole scope of humanity, there's never been this big of a free place to register to show up.
Right.
Now, it is still the big show, hands down. I think a lot of people think they can't get up there. And then a plumber gets lied to by a digital marketing agency, gets bad services, never pays for good services, or does pay enough for good services, but doesn't receive them, and gets confused, gets frustrated, and gives up, and then begins to buy leads, and then begins to make false narratives, negative narratives in their head about what's going on with everything. Oh, they're too big. Oh, they spend $30,000 a month. Oh, they've been there forever. None of those things are true, really.
Well, I mean, you know what? You might look at a competitor that's big, and they might be spending $30,000.
Not true as to why they're up there in ranking.
Yeah. They might now be spending $30,000 a month, but the fact is, you could beat them if they're not doing a proper organic effort. Which, if they're spending $30,000 a month, they're probably not.
Right.
There's actually an opportunity you could beat them for a fraction of what they're spending.
Right. Yeah, and we do it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. So if you'll get up there, that's where the rate of returns are, all the myths that people think about, or all the narratives that they make up in their head. SEO's dead. You hear it all the time. SEO is dead, or is SEO dead?
SEO doesn't work.
No, it's more complicated and alive than it's ever been. The algorithm's verging on AI at this point.
Yeah.
If someone's wanting to debunk this stuff in their head of their own narratives, or everyone clicks on paid, or it's only in the maps. Well, why does all of your competitors fight to be up there so badly, if that's the case? And so, and then another fallacy is, so they said, well, only the big guys can get up there. No, the guys that are big are up there. They got big because they're in ranking.
Yeah, we made that point, I think, once in a previous podcast, is you're reversing cause and effect.
Right. Only the biggest guys can get up there. Is that no, they became the biggest guys because they got up there.
Because they got up there.
And and it's not a chicken and egg scenario now. It's like they're not holding you away from trying to get up there. So in almost every market there is, somebody can get going and get up there and take their place if they'll just fight. Good news or bad news, I think I over the years of doing this for 13 years, 12 years, however long it's been, I think that maybe only 5% of all contractors ever even try.
Right.
And then out of the ones that try that we work with, probably only about 1%, 20% of those, or about 1% of total, ever truly understand it and get it down. Like they got it, they're fighting for it properly. Right. And we got a lot of clients, like we have hundreds of clients, and I'd say about half of them fight for it properly.
Yeah.
But only about 20% truly understand it.
Yeah, but there's most of them, and this is not meant to insult anybody, is they call and they don't really understand what we're telling them. And by the way, most of them will tell me that, and they'll say, I don't get this, but you guys are helping me out, and it's great, thank you, and that's it. And then we've got a few that get it, that call me, and I have hour-long conversations when we go over strategy.
They understand
it. Got
it. And it's okay that the ones that don't, but about 20% of our clients fully understand it. About 60% of them are really doing data pins and doing other stuff. So we have another, say up to 40% that are doing it right, but they're doing it because they've been asked to do it and they know it helps them, but they don't understand why.
Right.
And it's okay if they don't understand why. The good news
as long as they're doing it.
As long as they're doing it. The good news is that there's so few people doing it properly that anybody listening that wants to get up in the market, they fight for it, can get up in the market. And they can get up in the market on long tail keywords through data pins and other things while they're waiting for primary keywords to come up and their map placement to move to exactly where they want it to. But they can get up and put forth the fight, and it's not as hard or long of a fight as somebody would think. There was a time to where I think it was almost impossible to get up for a little while with the algorithm.
Yeah.
But it seems to have changed about 4 or 5 years ago. But there was a time where tenure just determined Google map placement.
Yeah, and for a long time, backlinks were it. They were the only factor. And when they finally got a handle on that, tenure weighted so heavily against everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a period that people in business would call you and you would flat out say, we can't help you.
Yeah.
Go get a website, let it sit for a year, maybe we can do something.
We actually told people that.
Yeah, that exact thing.
We would get more leads back there in the day. There's more people trying to get on, but because of algorithmic factors, there was no point with some people.
Yeah.
But the algorithm does a great job of extremely diverse. So as SEO did know, it's so diversified, it's crazy. And if somebody can get better signaling coming in, they can see movement rather quickly.
Yeah.
Especially if they already have a website up with a few reviews and it's sitting there. Most people have this horrible website up with some reviews and it sits there and they're disillusioned, they never touch it. But the fact that it's got time and tenure on there, if it gets fixed, it can move up in ranking rather quickly.
Right.
On a lot of keywords. But they sit there with it and they get disillusioned and therefore they buy leads.
Yeah.
Nolen Walker here for Data Pins. You may not know, but I own a software company and we have a proprietary software called Data Pins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo coordinate gets grabbed by data pins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords. And remember, those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out Data Pins. I think you'll be happy you did.
And this is the thing that's crazy to me is we know statistically, this isn't something we make up. Nolen mentioned before that 70% of all search goes to an unpaid and organic item on the search results page. So that means when you're paying for leads or paying for clicks, you're already going for a diminished portion of the audience.
Right.
And then you're paying for something that costs more than getting
right.
the larger portion of the
right.
audience. And then you're getting mad about it, and you're getting mad at the wrong person.
And they're getting mad for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So what he just said, basically, when you get organic, it costs, we're talking about rate of return, or it's hundreds and hundreds of % less than the cost of
Right.
a click. And it might be like 1,000%, like 10 times less, or even 20 or 30 times less, depending on how dominant it gets in the right market. And you get these daily call volumes, and people end up spending money on paid and just completely misunderstand. They'll make comments like it doesn't work. Well, it works. It costs so much it breaks your back, and you're upset about it.
Right.
But you're upset, and then you call up and you want, and we can do paid for somebody. But someone called up and go, I want to get someone new to handle my Google ads because they're not doing a good job and it's not working. Now they may be robbing somebody, which happens.
That does happen. Yeah, legitimate.
Happens all the time. If you get a black box billing, you don't know where your money's going. They're probably taking half. But if you're not taking half, the fundamental issue is that you don't have organic that is the best return on investment, the biggest marketing technique that's ever existed before that's available, and you haven't fully exploited it and taken advantage of it rightfully, like within their rules, white hat stuff. You haven't done it, and therefore you don't get calls from it, and you're having to go around buying leads, and it's a frustrating and expensive situation. The fundamental issue is you don't have your house in order and fix the real problem.
Right.
So when people call, it's a landmine when someone calls up and says, man, I've got $5,000, $2,000, $50,000 in ad spend, and it's not working. And then I look at a website.
That's scary.
And I'm like, and for me though, most of the time when this happens, well, every time when this happens, I don't remember the last time that this wasn't the case. It's almost every time. They spend tons of money on leads, ads, clicks, and I mean a lot. And the minuscule amount of money, I'm talking sometimes it's like 1/10, maybe even less, or 1/3 or 1/4, 20% less than the paid ad spend budget to do organic. And they focus on it. They don't focus on it at all. And it's like, why would someone ignore that when they're spending exponential amounts more to get exponential amounts less?
Yeah.
And
I was speaking to a client recently, and he has Google ads, but he either does them himself, or I think he might have someone in his office running them for him or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to the website that we handle for him. So I see it on analytics, and he was
Right.
calling it for analytics, and I said, "You're getting this much total," and it was like 1,800 visitors a month, which is good for a local business.
good for a
really
local
good.
contractor.
And I looked and I said, okay, about 60% of those are paid.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting, this much share is the paid that you're paying someone else for, and this is what we're getting you organic.
Aha!
And that's exactly what happened. It was, so he's getting most of it. I said, how much you paying him? I said, how much you paying for those? He goes, well, I don't know. I said, your ad budget of that, getting you that many clicks, you're paying thousands. How much you paying us? And he kind of sat, man, he kind of got quiet and goes, okay, good point.
So that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like
if you weighted every one of those clicks by dollar amount, it would actually look like we're actually generating more money for him
Yeah.
than the amount of clicks coming in.
I'll say this about it. We'll wrap up here in a second, but I'll say this about it. So one of the reasons we know this so well, we've done this for 12 or 13 years, and we run some Google Ads accounts too, by the way. We're Google Ads.
We're not hostile to Google.
Absolutely not. We run some of them, but we watch other people's Google Ads accounts, and people call up, and we'll look at it. And the Google Ads guys, not us, other Google Ads people that are running these for plumbers that are clients of ours, are nasty little lying punk ass people. I mean, they're really filthy people. So they're trying to
Had one impersonate me to a vendor yesterday.
Yeah, and someone impersonated him to a vendor. But so they're trying to anger that client, take advantage of them, claim victory on every single plumbing job or call they get. So they're constantly trying to get the SEO work, which we excel greatly at. And so they'll call up and go, well, we're responsible for all of this. And if you have this is all these leads are because of, but if you have analytics on your site, you can see where every single click comes from.
Right.
It's easy to parcel it all out. And in every single case, the organic will cost hundreds of percent less than the paid. And arguably the
I saw one
paid
once
is a low quality lead.
that a third of the paid clicks on the analytics were coming out of India.
Wow.
And it's like, well, I'm sure that's getting you a lot of local plumbing
Yeah,
jobs.
case in point, but a lot of the clicks, if somebody's clicking through ads, they have no loyalty, they built no branding, and the lead isn't as good, much less if it's being sold to 5 people like a Home Advisor or something,
Yeah.
or something else. But when they come in through organic on Google, the map, the keyword rankings, and they see the reputation reviews, the website, and they interlace the brand, it's an extremely high quality lead. They're less likely to shop you. It's just the leads are vastly better. And in this case that you're talking about, where they were hundreds and hundreds of % less than what he was paying for the other stuff, you know, you could pretty much double that again because of the quality of the lead.
Yeah.
Because the paid lead isn't as good of a quality lead. They're shoppers. They're clicking on ads. I would relate it.
The only time I would say that a paid lead pays off quick is for an emergency service, like someone's
restoration.
Someone's standing in their house, with water up to
Water
their
restoration.
knees.
Yeah.
They'll go with the first guy that answers the phone.
Of course, those clicks cost $250 a piece.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not a sale, a click.
Yeah.
Crazy. Some of the clicks for the plumbing services on like water heaters are ludicrous. And so if somebody doesn't want to buy a lead again, you can't even let's be honest, you can't make money on regular PPC or Google ad paying for a click on a water heater lead. I don't think there's a profit there at all.
Yeah.
Like zero.
I think in plumbing, that's the single most expensive click.
At very best, you might break even if you had really low overhead and pick up some sort of repeat client. And I think a lot of people will pay for ads just for that reason.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep the ball moving.
But we frequently get current clients call in interested in doing PVC. And a lot of the time, they want to do it for water heaters. Mm-hmm. And then they talk to our Google Ads certified PVC specialist, and she gives them the budget they would need, and they back off real quick.
Yeah, everybody wants water heaters. You absolutely should have page for tankless, page for tank. Update those pages with pins. All the extra technical words through a caption and a geo coordinate, validating it, helps the organic show up, helps the map show up, all that stuff. Vastly better lead, vastly cheaper. I mean, all this stuff is just better, you know? And so most people calling for a lead have a fundamental issue with their proper marketing, which is to brand their company on search engines, which is Google, by the way.
Nolen Walker here with Plumbing Webmasters. I'd like for you to consider becoming a client. You know, we have a lot of great people that work here at the company. We help hundreds of clients. We've done this for 12 years now. We help clients dominate online. We're a digital marketing agency. I honestly don't think there's anyone better than us at this point in time. We'll help you with your design, your code, your content. We'll help you rank on Google Maps. We'll help you reputation reviews organically. We even have proprietary software that I own in a different company called DataPins, DATAPINS. DataPins allows you to post pictures of jobs with captions and geo coordinates right onto the website. It'll take 90 seconds. A 12-year-old could use it, but you'll be able to post daily and get daily activity, great content. It even posts it back to your Google account. It even texts and emails the client. So one simple thing where you pick a couple of photos you took, wrote a caption, put in the client's cell phone number and hit pin, and boom. And then that is in addition to all the other things that we do for you for SEO. We can also help with paid ads and other things too. But man, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. You can check us out at plumbingwebmasters.com.
We don't even talk about this anymore. Most people don't complain about it anymore. Do you do Yahoo?
Do you do Yahoo? Do you do
Bing?
Bing? I actually had someone ask me about Bing about a month ago.
Yeah, so nobody
and I
asks
said, well,
anymore.
sir,
We do.
We'll get your Bing places listing in order, but I just got to tell you that Bing is about 5% of all search.
Yeah, it's
so
almost non-existent at this
this
point.
is not really worth your time to work.
And the SEO works the same way, so everything pops up anyway.
Yeah.
So Google sets all the rules and is frankly all the search.
Well, I mean, it's known that Bing actually scrapes Google's results to compare it against their own to improve their own.
They almost had a class A, or not a class, but they almost had a lawsuit out of that.
Yeah.
Bing had come out and said, hey, quit doing that, because, Google did, because Bing had hired some people from Google.
Yeah.
And then,
And Yahoo, by the way, all of Yahoo's results are actually Bing. When you put in a search on Yahoo search, it goes to Bing, gets the results,
Yeah.
brings it back. That's an agreement they have between them.
You show up there, we want you there as well. It's just very little search, maybe 10% going to other stuff.
Right.
15 at max, but it'll show up our sites, and all the optimization even shows up on DuckDuckGo and all that kind of stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with some of these sites. You might have a 1% following or something, or 2% on DuckDuckGo or something. You know? But all the stuff combined is very little.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, get your house in order. Function like this. Put on your HVAC or plumbing goggles. You know, I guess
Your marketing goggles.
Yeah, the marketing goggles, and think about everything through that deal and say, am I online properly? Am I pushing branded digital signaling out? Have I exploited and gotten all that I could get off of the reviews, reputation, mapping, and keyword ranking? Is it being managed well? It's ridiculous to go spend thousands, and it's really a never-ending budget. And most markets, a plumber can drop.
It's not just never ending, it's ever growing.
It's ever
Expanding, better word.
ever increasing click amounts. They started at a nickel. I think you can pay for like an $80 water heater click or something insane.
Yeah.
So you've got to get that done. What's insane is to take a reasonable budget considering the price of paid and to not apply anything to the organic where the big show is happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people won't do that, because there's a stigma, because there's a false negative narrative made, because of
You pay for a lead, you've got the lead, you call the
see
person, you get the job. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it's easy.
It's not easy. They hate them.
Yeah, well, they hate them because they're expensive, not because they're difficult.
They hate them because they're expensive and the leads are crappy, and they show up, and some of these people are rude AF with having 5 plumbers show up at one time.
Well, that too. But
Yeah.
But I think they don't because they've never experienced the big show.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that when when you get that organic lead that has already looked through, they've done their shopping, they've done it there in the search engine, and they've made their choice in a lot of cases, and they call you and they're ready to go, and they don't have 5 other plumbers showing up, and you didn't pay however much money just to get that phone call.
If
They don't understand how much better the lead is.
It's like a drug if they ever get a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because people say, well, I'm running warranty work for Old Republic or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, nothing wrong with it, but it's nasty work, and it's unforgiving, and no one appreciates you.
And it's low dollar.
Low dollar, and you get low reviews and all kinds of stuff. But then they'll get a call out of nowhere. It's like, hey, can you come on out? And somebody found them on Google Map, and they're like, what the hell was that? You know? Instead of somebody older.
Because they've never had that direct call from a customer saying, you come see me so I can give you
or a
money
home
for
advisor
service.
lead where they're like, hey, you knuckleheads come out. I got 14 other knuckleheads coming out, and the lowest one wins. I got a pack of beer over here. I'll give you a tall boy. You know?
Y'all get in my yard and fight about it. And whoever last man standing gets the job.
I hear these stories. I hear these stories from the guys. It's horrible, really. But then they get a call from Google Map, and some nice upper middle class person calls them out and gives them a decent profit margin, and they're like, I get a call from there, like, I got a call like that. I'd like to get more of them. I bet you would.
We need our water heater replaced. When can you come look at it?
Yeah. Instead of, we just moved in a house, we've got this warranty here, and you're the company listed. I don't expect to pay nothing. You know? Seriously.
They don't usually say it, but yeah, there's
I bet they do.
Yeah.
Not only do they do that, you don't know all the scams they go through. Like, I'll give you one other one. So they'll get a call from their Yelp listing, and they'll say, hey, I've got a house in such and such in Texas, but I'm in California right now, my other house, and I'm rich. I'm gonna write you a check for it. You need to go out and do the work. And they'll I don't know what the scam there is, but they'll scam them through Yelp and try to like pull a check, and like something's fishy on the deal.
Like get them to do the work, but reverse the check or something like
I
that.
don't know what the whole scam is, but they get massive amounts of all kinds of weird ass scams off of different ones, you know. So you've got rankings off of Yelp, a better lead, but you got scammers everywhere. Then you got home advisors selling your stuff off to everybody, and then unscrupulous people with no loyalty to local biz or anything calling you out, no consideration for them whether they make a profit or not, all showing up in the front yard. That does happen all the time. They show up and they schedule the appointment at the same time.
Yeah.
For all of them. Just rude as hell. But yeah, so there's all sorts of horrible stuff that they're having to work with. But if they get somebody to buy into a brand that leads you better, life isn't perfect on all of it, but it's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's as good.
The opportunity is enormous.
Yeah, it is.
If you get in the big show, you're set.
Give us a call, man. You want to say anything else at all, or
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe? Get into the big show. We'd love to help you out. Data Pens is our proprietary product. It's badass. There's a Data Pens podcast episode, YouTube video.
We go pretty in depth.
We go very in depth as to why it's a tool that you'll have that no one else has because it's ours.
Right.
And if you use Data Pens, it gives you massive competitive advantage to get into this big show. Get your marketing dialed in, get your brand dialed in, and get leads like you never had before. And you probably wouldn't be buying that other trash lead stuff that you're having to run after that's costing you thousands, that the rate of return on is so bad that you can't make a freaking profit, which is probably why you're mad at that stuff or whoever's doing it for you in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Take it easy.
Drop the keyboard,
Drop
the pen, whatever. drop the programming code. Take it easy, guys.